What's up guys, Jordy here and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a movement guide, I guess you could call it episode 2 of how to get better at Battlefield / FPS games. I thought I would go through a variety of movements that you can do in both Battlefield and FPS games, but at this rate mainly in Battlefield 5, but they are usable in other FPS games as well. Now the movements that I'll be going over today will be ones like the ice skate, which is what it's called in the community, which I'll explain. A breakdance, which is kind of like a glitchy prone movement. I'll go over crouch shooting and jump shooting, and a few other things like when to slide, when not to slide, etc, etc. So firstly we're going to get into an explanation of what a breakdance is and how it works. It's a move a lot of people call a breakdance. It is quite I'd say like a semi-glitchy kind of movement that can help you on an unsuspecting enemy and also an enemy that is hard aggressively pushing you. Just so you have an idea of what it looks like, I'm going to play a couple of clips now just so you have an idea of how it looks and how it could maybe work, so I'll cut to those now. Yo, so the way you do it is you just need to be in terms of really on your back like this, so you can see your legs in front of you. You can either do it aiming in or without aiming in. It doesn't really matter. So let's do it. I don't know, aiming in example. And as you see your legs in front of you, you can do it while moving backwards like this. You all of a sudden just do your movement stick forward, and it'll do the animation that you should just before this or just after this. You can do it while shooting as well, and it doesn't really affect your sight as much as you think it would. Like, it dips down a little bit, but it's not the most glitchiest movement thing, but it can help you in terms of when, I don't know, one person's pushing you around a corner, for example. So let's say you're here, 75 health, and they push around, you can quickly like go like that, and it might save you from being hit by 1 or 2 bullets, but at the end of the day, I reckon it's worth it. If you're gonna go prone anyway, you might as well try and do this. It just gives you, just a little bit more chance of actually staying alive. On your screen, it looks a little normal, like you don't see much difference really, but on their screen it does that like weird ass animation that sometimes when you do it like incredibly fast like that, it can save you from a gun. Now apart from the breakdance, we have a move that's called the ice skate, and it has many other names across the community depending on what region and what person you speak to. Now, I'm sure you've seen me use it or me call something like that, or even Maxi show this in a couple of his videos and streams. But it can be quite useful instead of jump peeking a corner to do this as well on an unsuspecting enemy. And the way to do this ice skate is you generally don't need to have your jump or crouch on any sort of special button, but it does help if you have these more accessible in terms of like my jump is on L2 and my crouch is on R3. But I know multiple people that can do this with jump on X and crouch on circle. So what you need to do first is you also need to be sprinting. So that's self-explanatory, and then once you're sprinting, jump, crouch in midair, and then that's it. So when you crouch in midair, you let go of any movement stick. So whichever direction you want to do it in, you can hip fire, you can aim. If you touch your movement stick, you stop. You get no momentum. And I'll do a slow-mo of how to do it now for you. Now, if you have any questions on ice skating or how to do it or button assignments, let me know down in the comments. But we're going to get into the basics of leaning now, which personally I have my lean on activate to lean. So this is something where you go into controls, soldier buttons, custom, so that's triangle. And then I have mine set to activate to lean while strafe. Activate strafe to lean while zooming. So it stops you from strafing. So when I press down L3, I stop strafing and then I go into a lean. So I'll be strafing like this. If I press L3, I'll lean and strafe. If I press it the other way, if I press it again, it recenters me and so forth. Now the way I recommend putting this on L3 if you can. It doesn't stop you from sprinting, as I have that the same. Unless you ADS and then press it by accident, that's when you'll end up leaning in like weird directions like this. Now leaning is obviously useful for walls. If you want to slow peek something, it is kind of an OP tactic and is used a lot in comp, considering it is kind of glitchy and all you see is a head. But yeah, this is kind of self-explanatory. You can crouch lean stuff like this. You get like a cheeky angle like that on someone on the garden. Or you can lean like a tree, which is probably the most OP thing to do, considering you can literally shoot through this as well, so this would do damage. But yeah, leaning is extremely useful, especially in conjunction with crouching, if you want to crouch and lean at the same time like this. It doesn't always work, and a lot of people do spam lean like this, which personally in this kind of battlefield it doesn't work. But in something maybe like Siege it will do, as it's a lot more useful in dodging headshots, where in Battlefield it doesn't work as effectively. But if you play a game like Siege, or any game similar with a lean, then it's extremely useful to lean spam like this, because it just stops you from dodging bullets to the head, where in Battlefield it doesn't matter that much. But if you have any questions on leaning, let me know. Now we'll head on to something just as simple, and that is crouching. Now, crouching while shooting is definitely effective in Battlefield and many other FPS games, but in terms of Battlefield 5, it's not effective to spam it like this, as you can see the sight is bobbing up and down. Now in Battlefield, your aim is tied to that sight, so if you want to, like let's say crouch spam someone here, your aim is going to be like jolting all over the place, and you'll end up missing a load of bullets, and then it's hard to sprint afterwards. You see you get that like stuck in the mud thing. Not many other games have that. So for example, crouch spamming and strafing in Apex or even Warzone is effective, but in Battlefield it's not that good, because it just slows you down too much. What you generally want to do is just crouch once, and and if they're aiming for your head, they'll end up just shooting straight over. So you want to just do one crouch, and then if you want to throw them off, you can just jump back up, and you either do that by pressing your jump button or just your crouch button again. Now if you have crouch on circle, doing the one crouch is kind of easy to do, because you can quickly just do it claw, or you can just do it with your thumb and then stop. Where if you want to crouch spam at any point, it's kind of hard to do with circle. But in terms of Battlefield, crouching once and then just throwing in a strafe works as well. And this obviously goes back to ice skating. You can do a crouch and a lean, like I said before, which is relatively easy to do. It's very effective in terms of dodging a couple bullets to your body and head as well. But that's generally what is useful for, other than the odd crouch sprinting, which does make your footsteps quieter, but in terms of a pub match and even competitive matches, it makes literally no difference at all, and half the time this is useless. You might as well just do a sprint. Now part of crouching is sliding. What you want to do is, normally sliding is just not that effective, but it's more effective around corners. So if you want to slide around a corner instead of jumping, it just gives you a little bit more momentum around the corner to peek it, and it throws them off if they're not ready for you at all. If they're ready for you, you will get double headshotted, especially in pubs. Some stem bot will snap AAU to the head. But I have this on double tap to slide, because it's on R3, which is found here. If you just want to press your crouch button and slide like this, it will make you crouch on the way out if your crouch and slide are on the same button. But if you have your crouch and slide separate, so let's say you had slide on R2, I'd recommend putting this on off. Otherwise, I just have this on double tap, because in Battlefield it makes you crouch on the way out like this, where in other games it stands you back up. There is no slide cancelling in this game that I know of, but obviously in Call of Duty that is effective. What you do is you just double tap to slide and then press jump, where in Battlefield it makes you jump. Which is an effective push strat if you want to slide and then jump at the end of it to like almost jump peek a corner, so you go slide, jump. It's effective, but then once again it needs to be on someone that's not ready for it. So let's say they're here on the head glitch. What you need to do is you need to slide, jump, and then like that. And that works, I'd say about 50% of the time, but I wouldn't always do it, as they're going to tend to be ready for it. But if you have any questions on the crouching or sliding or button assignments on that, please let me know, and I'll try help you as best as possible. And lastly is the roll. Now this can stop you from taking fall damage from high altitudes, so jumping off a bridge in Rotterdam or even a high ledge in, let's say, Provence or Devastation. Now what you need to do is either press crouch or jump just before you land, and you perform a roll, which will look like this on your screen, and then it will look like this from an enemy's point of view, or your point of view from an enemy doing it as well. Now, if you have any questions on the movement techniques or tricks mentioned in the video, let me know and I will try to help you as best as possible. If I have missed any, please let me know, as I may have missed some. But let other people know in the comments, and me also, and we can help each other get better in terms of movement. But like I said, I'm hoping to bring out another couple of episodes of these, at least one on aim and positioning, maybe a few others if I can. But thank you for your time watching. Let me know if you learned anything. But yeah, appreciate your view, and I'll catch you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.